The high court of Cythera glittered beneath a cold, artificial sky. Towering spires of metal and crystal scraped the heavens, and fleets of ships hung like frozen fireflies above the capital. It should have been a celebration, the coronation of Lady Vela, the once promised savior of the multiverse. Instead, the crowd gathered to watch her fall. I was there, a speck in the sea of faces. An out-of-place human in a polished sea of Cytherans, Renari, Threxians, all those who owed their peace to Vela. And yet, not a soul dared speak for her now. Vela stood at the center of the tribunal circle, shackled in chains made of null stone. Her once bright armor was cracked, her silver hair hanging limp over her violet eyes. Still, she met the accusing stares with calm, defiant pride. The High Arbiter's voice echoed from the dais. Lady Vela, defender of the Constellate, you stand accused of treason against the Universe Compact. You are charged with interference, destabilization, and the unauthorized protection of primitive worlds. The charge was a lie. Everyone knew it. Everyone stayed silent. Except me. I gripped the cold railing of the public gallery, heart hammering. I wasn't anyone important, just Captain Daniel Reeve of Earth's outer colonial scouts, barely tolerated among the highborn species. But damn it, I'd been there. I'd seen what Vela did, the world she saved from becoming ash under the Dominion's boot. I remembered her standing before the burning forests of Amoria, shielding an entire refugee fleet with nothing but her failing shields. I remembered how she dragged the last of the wounded onto my ship, refusing to save herself until every soul was safe. Now they called her a traitor. My gut twisted. I glanced at the others in the gallery. Diplomats, generals, advisors. Their faces were carved masks, unreadable, uncaring. Some even smirked. Cowards. The Arbiter continued, voice oozing false sorrow. By the will of the Constellate, your life is forfeit. You shall be returned to the void from whence you once rose. Vela lowered her head, a ghost of a smile on her lips. As if she had always expected this betrayal. The bailiffs moved forward, weapons drawn. I stood up. I object. My voice cracked through the cavernous tribunal. The hall fell into stunned silence. All eyes turned to me. The Arbiter's thin, scaled face twisted in disdain. Human. You will remain silent or be removed. I swallowed the ball of fear rising in my throat and stepped into the aisle. No. I won't. I pointed at Vela. She saved entire civilizations. Yours included. She's the only reason the Constellate still stands. And now you're going to murder her because she's inconvenient. A ripple of murmurs traveled through the gallery. The Arbiter leaned forward. This is not your concern, Earthman. You lack standing. Maybe, I said, taking another step closer to the tribunal floor. My boots echoed on the stone. But you don't get to pretend this is justice. This is fear. You're afraid because she didn't bow to your precious hierarchy. She saved lives without waiting for permission. She made you look weak. One of the guards moved toward me. I raised my hands but kept speaking. You think silencing her will make the people forget. It won't. It'll just prove that the Constellate is a lie. The Arbiter's eyes narrowed. Enough. No, I snapped. Not enough. I turned to the crowd, forcing them to meet my gaze. She fought for us when no one else would. Where were you when the Dominion burned the outer colonies? Where were you when the Krelthax swarmed the ringworlds? Hiding in your crystal towers, arguing treaties. Several members of the audience shifted uncomfortably. I pointed again at Vela. She didn't care about species or borders. She fought because it was right. And if you execute her today, you're not just killing her. You're killing every ideal you pretend to stand for. The arbiter rose slowly, his robe sweeping across the dais like a living thing. Enough. Guards, remove this human. The guards advanced. But something changed. Others stood up. A Renari ambassador. A Threxian battle priest. Even a few Scytheran civilians. Their voices joined mine. Hesitant but growing stronger. We stand with Vela. She saved my world. She protected my children. The tribunal faltered. The arbiter barked orders, but the room was shifting. The weight of public will, so carefully suppressed, now broke free. And amidst it all, Vela raised her head, her violet eyes bright with something fierce and shining. Oh, the next few hours were chaos. The arbiter declared the session adjourned, but the people wouldn't be silenced anymore. Protests erupted in the streets. Ships in orbit broadcast the tribunal proceedings across 1,000 systems. Word spread faster than the Constellate's enforcers could contain. By evening, Vela was still alive, and under guard in a high-security cell. I visited her that night. The prison was sterile and silent. Nullstone bars shimmered in the dim light. She sat cross-legged on the floor, her expression unreadable until she saw me. Then, for the first time since her arrest, she smiled, a real smile. "You are a fool, Daniel Reeve," she said, her voice soft but strong. "Yeah," I agreed, pulling up a stool outside her cell. "But someone had to be." Vela tilted her head, studying me as if seeing something new. "Why? You owe me nothing. Your own career is likely finished." Shrugged. "You taught me something. That doing the right thing isn't about winning. It's about doing it anyway. Even if it costs you." Her gaze softened. "Humanity. So often underestimated. So often misunderstood." She leaned closer to the bars. "You will have made enemies today. Powerful ones. Wouldn't be the first time," I said lightly. But the truth was I was terrified. The Constellate had long memories, and sharp knives. Vela saw through the bravado. She reached out, her hand hovering just beyond the Nullstone field. "Then let me offer you a choice, Daniel Reeve. Stand with me. Fight beside me. Not just here but across the stars. The Constellate's corruption runs deeper than you know. If you truly mean to change it, you will need allies." I hesitated. A life of running, of hiding, of fighting battles most would never see, for people who might never thank us. But I remembered the tribunal. The sick feeling in my gut as they condemned a hero to die. I remembered the fire in Vela's eyes as she stood alone against the universe. And I knew my answer. "I'm in," I said. Vela smiled again, fierce and proud. "Good," she said. "The real war is just beginning." Within days, the Constellate fractured. Worlds rose up, demanding reforms, demanding justice. The High Court issued a warrant for my arrest, branding me a co-conspirator. My face flashed across security warnings on every hub station from Cygnus Prime to the Oort Outliers. Vela escaped. Or rather, she was allowed to escape by those who now refused to enforce the court's orders. The Constellate's iron grip weakened as old alliances crumbled. And in the chaos a movement was born. The Phoenix Accord. A coalition of worlds, species, and peoples who believed in the ideals Vela had fought for. Freedom, compassion, unity beyond bloodlines. I became one of its first captains. Ship was a chance to fight for something better. Our enemies called us terrorists, rebels, dreamers. Maybe we were.